Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you all for tuning in. My name's Tyler. Watching a game today, which I'm calling a double 1v1. The reason I'm calling it that is because it's a 2v2 game where neither team helps their teammate. So it's really a 1v1 on both sides. There's no slinging, there's no double teaming. It's just a focused 1v1 game. And who are the challengers in this game? We're going to see MBL here in Chinese in red. His direct opponent across from him is going to be DarkDevil playing in teal. You can see that their scouts are already fighting here. We'll actually watch that for a moment and see who's got the advantage. Looks like MBL has the advantage there. He is one hit ahead as far as I can tell. And we will see DarkDevil run off for the moment. Okay, on the other side, we're going to see a 1v1 versus Lojza as Japanese in purple. And Luke Myth as Japanese here in yellow. So we have mirror civs on each side, and they're going to be playing really directly against one another. And they're going to be doing it on this map, Oasis. Now, Oasis games can be kind of cool because there's really only one angle that you can attack your opponent from. So if we look, for instance, at Lojza up here, we can see that obviously he's got to come down and attack Luke from this avenue. The center of the map is all trees. It would take you, even with siege onagers, it would take you forever to get through. So you really have to come and beat down your opponent's front door. And that is a good change of pace. You know, in this channel we've been watching Arabia games. We've seen great play from people like the Viper, MBL, Backed, etc. We've seen them really use misdirection to try to get their opponent off guard, get into their base, and take down villagers. On this particular map, it's strength versus strength. My army's going to come in this direction, down toward you. Your army's going to come toward me, and let's see who the better player is tactically. So hopefully we'll see some good tactics in this game. Speaking of this game, we can see 4 villagers here for Luke on wood, expecting a drush from him. 4 villagers on wood for Lojza as well. So we'll expect a drush potentially from both of those players. If we look on the other side, MBL has 3 on wood. DarkDevil technically has 4 here, but we will not see a drush from DarkDevil. Take my word for it. Other than that, it's a pretty normal map. Players luring in boar, potentially pushing deer in. There's a couple of deer patches. There are a few extra sheep on Oasis. You can see here in the center there's 6 sheep just waiting for Lojza, who's about to grab those, and that's going to be a huge boost for his economy. But other than that, this is pretty much the same as the games that we normally watch on Arabia, with the exception of what I talked about before. And we actually see a potential boar steal here from M, or maybe just a very long boar lure, I guess you could call it. There is an extra boar or 2 on this map as well. So there you have it. Let's let this game progress. We'll keep an eye mostly on Lojza, since his side seems to be the side that's going to push a potential drush. And we'll speed this up just for a moment and see where we end up. Interesting thing to watch here early is Lojza's scouting. He's looking around the map. He just saw Luke's scout, but he's trying to figure out where to potentially start an early drush. The problem for Lojza is he comes in this side of Luke's base. He doesn't see the wall off that's coming across. He sees this wood line that would be easy to harass, and he immediately runs back to bring his drush forward. Unfortunately for him, he never sees these walls, which makes it look like his drush may not have a very good chance of succeeding. Little fighting there between the scouts. Luke is trying to sneak some sheep through the back door. And it looks like he'll get those around for the moment. Lojza is much more interested in getting his drush out. There are his 3 militia coming. Problem is they're going to have nowhere to go because this is fully walled off. We're not going to see a counter drush from Luke. He doesn't even have a barracks at the moment, so he's going to focus purely on his economy. So it looks like Lojza is going to push the action, and it looks like Lojza is going to build a bit of a wall off here. Interestingly, he's taking a lot more map than the other players. So if we look at M, we can see that he's building his wall off directly next to his TC. If we look at DarkDevil, he's building his right next to his TC. If we look at Luke, he's doing the same. Lojza's really come pretty far from his town center to build his walls, and that's going to give him this whole corner of space that might be useful for trade later in the game. Lojza's Drush now just coming home here to find that Luke is walled up. So we'll fast forward a bit, since militia attacking houses is probably not your idea of a good time. We can see M and Luke clicking up to feudal. If we look at the villager count for both of them, we can see that M has 27, Luke has 26, DarkDevil on 27, Lojza on 26. So it looks like a late feudal click up for everyone, and probably a fast castle. Once you've got yourself walled in, as M almost does, DarkDevil's finished his wall, and both of these players have finished their walls. Once you have your walls up, this is a good map to fast castle on. So we'll expect to see that. Unfortunately for Lojza, he's not going to get in, but he is going to get a house. Don't ask me why. Excuse me. Don't ask me why Luke didn't decide to repair this house. I guess he doesn't want to bother with it. He's just built a secondary level of walls. Maybe he's trying to convince Lojza that this is a pointless place to attack. You do have some wolf fighting going on as well. Lojza's loomed up. He'll be fine, and he'll kill that wolf off. But again, his wall is so much more aggressive than everyone else thus far. And what it's going to allow him to do is take over this corner and potentially set up trade with M all the way corner to corner on this map. Continuing to batter down that house, players starting to approach feudal age. We'll expect a market and blacksmith from them very shortly. It looks like Luke and M are going to hit at exactly the same moment. Luke is dropping his market with 2 villagers, his blacksmith with 1 villager. On the other side, we can see M, blacksmith with 1 villager, market with 2 villagers. So very standard fast castle build for these guys, and we'll expect to see them drop a couple of TCs and really start booming out and relying on their walls. However, Lojza over here, he's dropping a blacksmith. Is he dropping a market as well? He is dropping a market. Okay, so we'll see a fast castle build from Lojza as well. Interestingly, Luke has walled his scout out of his own base, and he's actually looking to see what his opponent's doing. And you can see the spirit of the game. I talked about this being a true 1v1. You can see Luke here is not even scouting his far side opponent. You know, there's nothing blocking his scout from running all the way across the map and getting some information on M, which he could share with his teammate. Like I said, this is a true 1v1. No slinging, no teamwork. Just a truly one side versus one side, and let's see who wins. We can see Lojza here is going to grab another house. We can see 3 of the players clicked up to Castle Age. What we don't see is DarkDevil clicked up. He's going blacksmith, stable, and market. And he actually doesn't have the resources at the moment to click up. I'm not sure if he, probably because he didn't find these sheep over here. So DarkDevil not doing any scouting at all. And it's really going to hurt him here. He could have easily had, what's this, 5 sheep? 5 sheep times 100 food. There's also 2 more sheep over here. So DarkDevil and Luke not scouting their side of the map. Let's get an idea of what Luke has for vision here. Yeah, neither player scouting their side at all. So a true 1v1. No teamwork whatsoever at the moment. At least not for the Italian players here. Maybe they have a strategy that I don't know about, but those sheep certainly would have helped DarkDevil here, who's now starting to put a stone wall up across the front. DarkDevil just now clicking up to Castle Age. He's going to be a full 2 minutes of game time behind his closest opponent, which is M. So if M decides to do any sort of castle aggression, he's going to have a massive advantage. If he decides to boom, he's going to have a massive advantage. He's going to get a lot more villagers out before DarkDevil even hits Castle Age. If we look at M, we can see he's dropping a second TC and a third. Not surprising there at all. Luke dropping a second TC and a third. And still losing houses over here to Lojza. Lojza is going to drop 2 more TCs. He hasn't hit castle yet, but one's going to come up here on the stone, and another will be here by this wood line. Take my word for it. Meanwhile, we can see Lojza is sending a villager forward here. He's going to drop a siege workshop, and it looks like he's going to put some castle age pressure on. Although he's going 3 TCs, he's going to invest a little bit of resource into keeping Luke on his toes. And we can see in the scores here that DarkDevil's really starting to fall behind. He's going to be last to castle, and he's going to be way behind in villagers by the time he gets there. As I said, Lojza's TCs are going to be coming up here, building each TC with 4 villagers, and we can see M has now got 3 established. If we look at the villager count, we can see that both teams have very similar amounts of villagers for the moment, but Team 1, purple and red here, are going to start to pull away because they have such a major advantage on DarkDevil. Okay, so just some farming and some mining for Luke. Really no offense at all. He doesn't even have a military building yet, and he's just doing a good job walling up and defending his side. Interestingly, he was open there for just a half a second, and Lojza didn't react in time to get that wall, but he did take a villager down, and he does now have a mangonel. He should be able to easily open up these palisade walls and easily defend them from being repaired by any of Luke's villagers. So Lojza's Drush is now in, and we're going to see what Lojza can do in terms of harassment. Luke with a counter siege workshop. He's probably going to drop a mangonel of his own to try to take this one out. But for the moment, it looks like Lojza has a little bit of a chance here to get some harassment in. He also has to get some scouting in. He hasn't seen any of his opponent's map. This was walled off before he could really get an idea. Unfortunately, Lojza is going to run his militia directly under the TC of Luke, and he's going to lose 1 and probably 2. He's going to lose 2 of his militia there, and now his attack is over. He doesn't have enough to defend this mangonel, and it looks like it's going to go down to these villagers pretty quickly. Interestingly, though, Lojza does have a monk coming forward. Looks like he's going to get a conversion here on one of these villagers. So he will lose a mangonel, and he will lose his militia without getting too much harassment, but he'll also get at least 1 villager for his troubles. And we'll probably see more monks and more siege from him. Another really maybe a moment of not paying attention for Lojza. He's going to throw that militia and villager away for nothing. Really getting an advantage and giving it away at this point, but still keeping the offensive pressure on. These villagers coming forward to maybe try to wall that hole up. They're not going to get there in time, or are they? Nope, they are not. Lojza is going to grab another villager, keeping the pressure on, grabbing a few relics, and doing a pretty good job. We see a counter mangonel here that's going to be out of Lojza's range of sight. That mangonel is going to lurk and wait for him to get close to these walls so it can pick him off. If we look at M, he's here dropping a 4th TC and just booming up. Really no military buildings to speak of. DarkDevil does have that stable that he built, but he isn't building any units. He's just simply booming up on 4 TCs himself. He did have a slower progression to Castle Age, and we can see a huge villager advantage for M. 70 versus 49 for DarkDevil. So M's boom is going to be very strong. We just heard a villager go down. I can only assume that it's Luke over here losing a villager. Lojza camping up on this hill. He's going to take that house down. He could easily target this blacksmith and pretty much get it for free, but he's getting in closer. He's trying to get this house, trying to get this villager, and it looks like it's about to bite him in the ass, because here comes a mangonel shot from Luke. Not enough to take him down. Both players trying to dodge, and Luke's going to get that mangonel as well. Meanwhile, Lojza getting redemption. That would allow him to convert this siege weapon so he can come forward with monks and defend his mangonels. But unfortunately for Lojza, although he's kind of put some pressure on, really not getting anything much done. He's distracting Luke. He's taking a few villagers down, but he's had real opportunities to get in here and do some harassment, and he's been pushed back twice already. So we'll see each player booming off. Everybody's got a couple of villagers on stone at this point. They're starting to build stone walls, starting to save up for castles. Those are important in maps like this. As we talked about before, Oasis is very much a map of having a really strong front line and pushing into your opponent. Another villager down here from Luke. Looks like he's going to lose this house as well. Opening here in the palisade, and look at this conversion coming for Lojza. Luke very intelligently deleting his mangonel before it can be converted, and here comes Lojza with a little bit of pressure. One monk, one mangonel, second mangonel on the way. Let's see what they're capable of doing by themselves. Unfortunately, this seems like a pretty easy forward to just rush down with villagers. You know, sending villagers at this mangonel and at this monk. Seems like an easy tactic. Another villager down here for Luke. Lojza shooting his deer, converting another villager here. We've got some villager fighting. Looks like actually Lojza is going to get this villager. She's on such low HP. Not very good micro from Luke. He really shouldn't have low HP villagers near the walls. Not going down that villager. Staying alive on 1 health. But we can see Lojza is now really in a commanding position. 2 mangonels against this TC. Really pushing down onto Luke, and you can see resulting score is very low for Luke. He's on 65 villagers at this point, and that's just not going to get it done for him. Losing another villager there, and losing time on this farm, losing time on this wood line, and really Luke is in trouble right here. So we'll see if he can recover from this. If we look on the other side, we can see a big aggressive wall-off coming from... we have a conversion here. This mangonel converted just now by Luke. So he's also very aggressively going to be using his monks. He takes down the monk here. Which mangonel will win out? It looks like Luke is actually going to push Lojza back. 2 mangonels and a monk, and they were unable to get the job done. 1 conversion and a couple of good mangonel shots, and Luke is back in a safe place, and he's actually reconverted this villager back. So all in all, Luke doing a really good job defending this. M's got a villager inside that he just now converted, but that wall for the moment is intact. So some villager fighting there, but nothing too major. We do see people clicking up to Imperial. M is up first. Lojza's behind him. DarkDevil grabbing a couple more researches, and maybe we'll see him go up in just a second himself. But for now, Team 1, purple and red, is going to have an advantage, and we're seeing villagers coming forward here pretty aggressively from Lojza. And they're going to be building a castle and then grabbing this gold. So Lojza really taking map control, and we can see X is coming down from M, talking about where to put markets down for trade. And it looks like Lojza and M are going to have their stuff together in Imperial Age very much sooner than their opponents, about a full minute of game time. And meanwhile, Lojza's done this while keeping pressure on Luke, which is really impressive. Double castles coming down here to really fortify this front line for Lojza. Aggressively building those with lots of villagers. We can see Luke, on the other hand, is really doing nothing of the sort. He doesn't have a defensive castle coming yet, and he doesn't have any military units whatsoever. So he's really trying to boom out of control at the moment. We can see DarkDevil made a pretty smart play here. He came forward and built a layer of wall here, and he's trying to keep M inside of his own base until he can catch up to his boom. He's also going to try to build a second layer of walls here, and by the time M can get through a couple layers of walls, maybe DarkDevil can have his stuff together. Maybe he can catch up. We're actually seeing fortified walls for him as well. So 3k hit points for those walls, and those are going to be even harder to knock down. Meanwhile, Lojza's castle's up. He's keeping the pressure on the front. We can see markets starting to come down from Lojza and from M. And this secondary wall-off seems to be something that's going to be complete in time to hold M in for now. We're seeing Chu-Ko-Nu out of him, not very surprising as Japanese, or as Chinese rather. We're also seeing a couple of stables, so we'll expect some cavalry very soon. And for now, we're just going to wait and see what everybody does when they hit Imperial. Lojza and M obviously are there already. We're probably going to see Trebs out of Lojza here. We are. So 2 castles building Trebs. Those are going to start to really put some pressure on Luke, especially on this TC and on any of these buildings here in the front of his base. And it just looks like Lojza and M are starting to really take control of this game. Those Chu-Ko-Nu are going to get a hole through the wall. They're going to do that because M is using petards. This is a unit you almost never see, but in this case, it is the perfect unit. He's able to actually take out the villagers building this wall. It appears that there is a hole over here, so he won't even need those petards. Those things are just so great at knocking down walls, especially totally unguarded walls. And he's just going to be able to come forward and see what his opponent's doing. If we look from M's view, we can see that he does have cartography. He is going to see his teammates work. He's seeing that Lojza is winning his side, dropping another castle, trebbing down Luke. He's also going to try to drop a castle here. He'll find out very shortly that that is a far too ambitious location for a castle. We can see DarkDevil here has a castle of his own that is right in the shadow of that. So he's going to push back and probably build a castle a little bit further back, and we're going to see it drop right here. So M and DarkDevil finally getting a chance to square off, but it might be too little too late even if DarkDevil can win that side, because Lojza is here with 4 trebs, and he's really knocking down the front door of Luke. Luke with a few trebs of his own, he's going to try to take down this forward castle. It looks like we're going to see a little bit of a treb war. We're also seeing Luke kind of throwing away villagers here. He's trying to get a stone wall up across here, which is very smart of him, but it's too little too late. He's going to just continue to lose villagers to those castles. And if we look at the villager count, we can see Luke is only on 93 villagers at this point, or 95 villagers, whereas Lojza is on 113. And he's very happily trebbing down the front of Luke's base. We do see a castle here now for M. A couple of trebs probably coming out, and he's going to start putting pressure on this castle. Trade has been started. We can see that M is starting to send trade carts across the map. Lojza will probably do the same very soon. We can see, since we're from MBL's point of view, 91 gold for each transaction. And that's going to be a huge boost for these guys if this game goes long term. It doesn't look like it's going to because of the domination of Team 1, red and purple. However, Elite Chu-Ko-Nu on both sides here, squaring off. We have +6 and +2. We have +4 and +1. So DarkDevil's Chu-Ko-Nu are stronger, so he's going to have an advantage there. It looks like if he can get out of the range of this castle, he might be able to pick off some of these villagers. He'll probably grab a few of those. One villager down. Will he get another? I don't think he will. So not really getting a whole lot of bang for his buck there. Siege Workshop coming down for DarkDevil, but this castle is inevitably going to fall with 3 trebs hitting it. On the other side, we can see that Lojza is starting to push in. This TC is in serious trouble. He's actually not focusing it down at the moment. He's taking down farms and houses, but that TC is one stone ball from going down, and these houses are all under pressure. These farms have all been taken away, and it looks like Lojza has very strongly won his side. And just look at the number of trebs here. It's a little bit of a risky move from him, building maybe 8 trebs here without a single military unit, such as an archer or a knight, to defend them. He's just going straight trebs, but it's going to work because Luke has not built anything himself. A couple of last-minute samurai here. They're not going to last long under the shadow of 2 castles. Luke with a TC down there. On the other side, we can see that M is using scouts and Chu-Ko-Nu. to push in on DarkDevil, and it seems very obvious at this point that this is good game. DarkDevil tried to build a market here, but he would never have gotten his trade across the inevitable line of castles and military that M was going to keep streaming in there. Market up on this side, but no trade was happening for Team 2 here. So there you have it, a double 1v1. I hope you enjoyed this one. Lojza and M really took over. Nice to see Lojza being aggressive in the Castle Age without his boom really faltering. You know, his imp time was just fine. His resources and villager count was very impressive considering how much aggression that he put on. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the match. Maybe you'll see another game on Oasis. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you just want to see Arabia games. That's fine too. But give me a shout and let me know what you like. And until next time, I'm Tyler. Thanks again for tuning in.